in the UK, I haven't seen a lot of poets who are encouraged to be very vulnerable and emotionally outgoing, be an emotional extrovert on stage. I really try and pioneer that. I feel like performances can live with you for a long time, like memories. And I remember Brene Brown said that memories are like witnesses, they don't always tell the truth. I feel like when you write poems for page, those are the witnesses and memories that really stay with you.
I found you from your performance, Def Jam.
Oh, Pretty Hurts.
Yeah.
Yeah. A friend of mine, a good friend of mine said like, I don't like it, I don't think it's good, don't share it. I was like, wow. And to see how that has resonated with people made me realize that that quote that's in my book is like, it's called I write for those with walls for windows. You're now providing an outlet for the things they put in a safe. And it's like they found their treasure again. So I'm very conscious of the entertaining side of me performing on stage, and I feel like there's a reluctance to a lot of poets, whether it's by preference or just by like an unconscious decision, that they aren't prepared to give, especially in Britain. I've noticed in my eyes that Americans do so well, which is like they don't have the reserved emotional reservation when they're on stage. Americans give it to you, like,
right.
And whether that's because, like, I'm gonna coin a phrase that the Ned Smith said, like, they learn a way to like cannibalize their trauma and just perform it on stage, like they're digesting the things to make themselves nourished to share it.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like in the UK, I haven't seen a lot of poets who are encouraged to be very vulnerable and emotionally outgoing, be an emotional extrovert on stage. I really try and pioneer that when people hear me, because it's like the word love. Like, you can say love and like, oh, I love you, oh, I love you, oh, I love you, or you be like, I love you, and it means so much more. So I don't want to ever present a poem or a feeling in a way that's subpar to what inspired it. And that's why I feel like performance is a really important part to it, because in our brains there's like a theater going on. When you think things, when you feel things, like there are people applauding or there are people booing you in your head. I want to bring that atmosphere outside and change the terrain through my performance. And I've seen it happen. Like when everyone just like jaw dropping, I'm like, I finally made a shift. The rawest emotion is in this rawest yet refined state can create that. Now, I feel like performances can live with you for a long time, like memories. And I remember Brene Brown said that memories are like witnesses, they don't always tell the truth. And I feel like when you write poems for page, those are the witnesses and memories that really stay with you. Like even how we learn, as much as we like look at our parents and people around us, like you learn through reading and text and visualization, like so much in it. So when you give yourself on page to someone else, they now don't have 5 minutes to take you in. They have the rest of their life to return back to it and completely feel different ways about you. And I feel like that's where your care and concern for how you present yourself is so important, because it's not, oh, you said something. It's like, how did you write that? How did you want me to? You have so much more control over what someone else can interpret you to say. And I feel like that's the scarier thing. And I feel like even that's more so why I invested 3 years in understanding to a certain level, how can I communicate this on paper in a completely different way, but use language to almost balance out what I do with performance on paper. That's why form is important. Form doesn't always serve a function for me, but I definitely feel like it can provide a parameter that you can bounce yourself off of. So yeah.
I found you from your performance.
Which one?
Def Jam.
Oh, Pretty Hurts.
Yeah.
Yeah. That, do you know what's so funny as well? When I wrote that poem, a friend of mine, a good friend of mine said like, I don't like it, I don't think it's good, don't share it. I was like, wow. But I was in such a rebellious state. I was like, I don't care what you think. Like, I care what you think as a person. I was like, I'm going to share it anyway. And to see how that has resonated with people made me realize that that quote that's in my book is like, it's called, I write for those with walls for windows, right? And that poem pretty much nailed it to the point. Like, there were some people who have connected with that because it felt like, for me speaking on their behalf, I hope like I have the license to do that. It's like, you're now providing an outlet for the things they put in a safe. And it's like they found their treasure again, because it's out in the open now. And sometimes when you put something away and you look at it, you forget that it's even there. You forget that you had this value all along, and the truth was the value that a lot of us pretty much keep inside a lot of the time. And yeah, man, like we take all these, like we adorn ourselves in like experiences that don't add to us, but really it's the truth that we should be adorning ourselves with and presenting that. So for me, that poem was me doing that, and I feel like that performance and that recording really, really put that achievement on a pedestal.
Yeah.
It really made me, even now, like I look at that video and I'm like, I'm so glad I saved up for a whole year just to go out there. I'm so glad I made all those sacrifices to be out there. I'm so glad that that world received me in such a way that other people could receive it on a greater scale. So yeah, man, I'm glad that you found me through it, because yeah, I'm glad I made that happen. It took me a year, like for real, because I was in like New York, DC, and I had like, I co-assisted a team to like second place in the world for like Brave New Voices as well. So I was spending money in so many different places, so I needed to like, yeah, man, it was, yeah, I'm glad I did that. I'm glad I did that. Again, like you never really realize at the time, like I remember friends asking me, oh, do you want to go out? And I was like, I can't. Like I just can't. I didn't want to tell anyone why I was saving money. I was like, I just can't afford it.
Right.
And there reaches a point where people stop asking you because they know you're going to tell them no. So it's like, so now you just see the pictures on Instagram. You're like, well, I didn't even want to shout you this time, but I knew my goal was to venture to a place I always wanted to. Like I never thought I was good enough to perform in the States. I always wanted to.
Right.
That's where my idols, my performance idols were. And now like I'm friends with my performance idols, which is crazy to me.
That's incredible. But I can see, but if you see, so your presence when performing your words, I don't see a separation between your voice and the words. It just feels really, they feel so glued together. And it kind of, sometimes when listening to recitals, I can grab the words separately and make sense of it. It's almost like I'm kind of reading it.
Yeah.
But with you, my experience of watching and listening is that it's like it would be with a singer or with a rapper.
Like you gotta explain that for me. That's interesting.
Because it feels so, when your words are so in tune with your voice. I don't mean voice in It's so ingrained. So ingrained, which is why we were having the earlier conversation in the car about how people will arrive at you. Will they find you first on the page, and then will they, like for instance, I'm wanting to hear your voice when I'm reading the page, but because I found you first through performance, and my experience of you was that it felt so complete. It felt so complete.
That's nice. And you know what, I'm gonna put it in a completely open way. There are some poets I think are phenomenal on stage.
Right.
I think on page they need to do more work.
Right.
And again, that depends on aesthetics, depends on research, depends on how much you're editing yourself, but it's okay to have a preference of like poets on stage.
Yeah.
Like it's like a genre.
Yeah.
I like grime music. I like neo soul, I like Kizomba. Like it doesn't mean that when I start reading lyrics of Kizomba, I need to resonate with it just as much. No, like I need to feel it. And I feel like a lot of the time you can feel things on page if it's done in a particular way that is speaking your language. Yeah. Right. And a lot of the time I feel like performance is Ocean Vyung said it's like performance is another version, like the air is a page. Yeah. And it's how do you scribe yourself in the audience? And I feel like that's what I try and do. And it's clearly successful, so
yes.
But yeah, that's interesting, man. Like again, like some people only find their niche or their concentration on being a performer. Like I always wanted to be like the best. Like in my mind, I'm honestly like the best UK spoken word poet, period. And other people probably have criteria to go by to be like, oh, you can't say that because they're in award ceremonies or they're this. Like if I don't feel that way about myself, I won't write the best work that I need to write. So it's not an attack on anyone else who is or thinks they're of a certain level. It's like how I view myself. When I write, I cannot approach a page and be like, I'm crap. I'm gonna write crap material. Yeah. For me, right? And for the community that are almost responding to this is like, yo, Lionheart is a source of this energy or this content or this. A friend of mine said, like, do you know you're a safe space for men? Like, I didn't know I'm a safe space. I didn't know that just through my art. And I'm like, cool. Like, I have to honestly look at myself and be like, I'm the best UK poet in my mind. I have to. And I advise other people to feel that way about themselves. Some people don't have that. Like, I was commissioned by the drug policy museum, the museum on drug policy, right? And I met a beautiful lady. Her name was Devine. Thank you. Phew, I thought I was gonna forget the name. Big up Devine. And I approached her, and she just had this airiness about her. The way like she carried herself was just so light. And I was like, what is it about you? Like there's something mystical about you. And she was like, very like eloquent and airy, like I wanna like spiritual, but like a spirited person, right?
Yeah.
And she goes, you kill the ego. I was like, what? She's like, you kill the ego. And even then my ego was like, don't. Don't do it.
Even mine's like, hang on.
But she just reached, for me, she had this like Zen quality of just like utter peace by not having an ego, which could be its own beast, its own leech, its own vampire in its own way. And I don't feel like just because the way I approach myself or view myself or architect my way of looking at myself is everyone else's. It shouldn't be everyone else's template. The world will be a boring place. Yeah. But find the route, find a GPS system within yourself that allows you to navigate to your own tranquility. Yeah. And for me, like viewing myself in its highest form does that, because I know what the hell is like when I don't view myself in that way. So yeah, find your own thing, man.
You said it again. Yeah. The hell.